What's up, Pessimists? Well, it's finally here. A few weeks ago, after 22 months of investigation, Special Counsel Robert Mueller finally released a redacted version of his long-awaited report on Russian election interference in the 2016 presidential campaign. I've read it 3 times now and listened to it on Audible more than I care to admit. And I feel confident in saying that coming in at 448 pages and divided into 2 sections, collusion,
no collusion,
and obstruction,
no obstruction,
it is an astounding document. This is the first of many videos that I'll be making about the Mueller report. So for today's video, let's focus only on the first part of the report, collusion.
no collusion.
So 90 or so minutes before the highly anticipated report was made available to the press and the public, Trump's hand-picked Attorney General and John Goodman without a soul, William Barr, put on his dancing shoes and performed for the press corps his own personal 25-minute interpretive dance rendition of Mueller's findings. To the great shock of absolutely nobody, Barr's performance looked less like that of the Attorney General of the United States and more like the counsel for the defense, parroting the president's 2-year-old refrain,
No collusion.
But is that what the report actually says?
That's the bottom line.
The answer is kind of? Let me explain what I mean. So Volume 1 of the Mueller report is where Mueller lays out all of the evidence of the Russian interference campaign and all of the known contacts between the Russian government, its intermediaries, and members of the Trump campaign, which total up to around 100 individual contacts involving people across the spectrum of both the Russian government and the Trump campaign. Both before and after he does that, Mueller explains the lens through which he viewed the evidence that he uncovered and how he made his decision to either charge or not charge Americans in the Trump campaign in relation to the contacts that they had with Russians. So, did Mueller find any collusion?
No collusion.
And if so, how does he define collusion?
No collusion.
The answer is, he doesn't. The Mueller investigation was a fact-finding mission with the ability to prosecute crimes if any of the facts it uncovered amounted to a criminal violation of United States law. As the report explicitly states, quote, "Collusion is not a specific offense or theory of liability found in the United States Code, nor is it a term of art in federal criminal law." Therefore, because collusion is not a violation in the criminal code, Mueller viewed the concept of collusion as completely irrelevant to his investigation, focusing instead on the crime of conspiracy, which Mueller describes as requiring, quote, "more than the 2 parties taking actions that were informed by or responsive to the other's actions or interests." Trump made the entire conversation about collusion,
No collusion.
which is immaterial to Mueller's investigation, because Mueller's a prosecutor, and prosecutors search for crimes, not moral failings or political impropriety that falls just short of criminal conduct, which is the best way to describe the Trump campaign's more collusion-y activities.
No collusion.
By framing the investigation in binary terms, either collusion
No collusion.
or no collusion,
At all.
Trump was able to successfully confuse the narrative by erecting a straw man argument that could easily be foiled by whatever Mueller found. Because there was always going to be
No collusion.
in the Mueller report. Because collusion wasn't something in the realm of possibilities for Mueller or the law. He considered if the campaign's actions constituted a criminal conspiracy, which he determined did not exist because he found no evidence of a concrete agreement between the campaign and Russia. All he found were 2 separate entities that were communicating frequently while both aggressively pursuing the same goal, with one of those entities going about it using blatantly illegal tactics, which the other entity was well aware of, encouraging of, and even warned of by federal law enforcement. And hey look, I'm as happy as the next guy that the President of the United States didn't engage in a criminal conspiracy with a hostile foreign power to win a presidential election. But what the Mueller report shows is an American political campaign and now presidential administration that was willing to encourage,
Russia, if you're listening.
solicit,
If it's what you say, I love it.
accept, and exploit help from a hostile foreign power in order to win.
I love WikiLeaks.
Now, this whole saga can be a little confusing, especially when it's in the form of Mueller's dense legal prose. So, let's put this in terms that even Donald Trump himself could understand. The language of shady real estate deals and insurance scams. So let's say that one day you're just living your life in your house, and suddenly your next door neighbor moves out and they put their house on the market. You've been looking to invest in real estate lately, so you go ahead and buy your neighbor's house and add it to your investment portfolio. Then, you hear through the grapevine that a gang of traveling arsonists is coming to your area setting fires to houses in your neighborhood. So you decide that just to be safe, you'll take out an insurance policy for $100,000 on the house just in case the arsonists try to set it on fire. Then one day, you get an email from a gang of traveling arsonists at yahoo.com, telling you that they would really like to have a meeting with you because they noticed that you took out an insurance policy on that empty house next door, and they'd like to help you cash in on the insurance payout by burning that house down for you. You sure could use the cash, so you go ahead and email them back agreeing to the meeting, telling them, if it's what you say, I love it. You go to the meeting expecting to discuss the logistics of how the gang of traveling arsonists will burn your house down, but you're bitterly disappointed when all that mean old gang wants to talk about is how they're gonna need 50% of your insurance payout. You don't want to give up 50% of your payout, so you tell the gang of traveling arsonists that you'll revisit the issue with them at a later date, and no concrete deal is agreed to.
It was literally just a wasted 20 minutes, which was a shame.
A few weeks after that, the local police and the fire chief come to your house, and they tell you that they have it on pretty good authority that that gang of traveling arsonists in the area is dead set on burning down your new investment property in the near future. They ask you to tell them if you are contacted by the gang of traveling arsonists, or if you notice any arson-related behavior. You decide not to tell the local police and the fire chief about the conversations you've already had with the gang of traveling arsonists about burning the house down for the insurance money, but since it seems like they're gonna go ahead and burn it down anyway, you decide to double up your insurance policy on the house to $200,000. Then, lo and behold, your investment property is burned down to the ground, so you go ahead and collect your $200,000 insurance check from the insurance company. Does that make you an arsonist? No, he didn't light the match. An arson conspirator? No. You didn't ask or direct the arsonist to light the match. You just found out that the arsonists were going to light the match, and you found a way to benefit from their arson. All you did was encourage the arsonists to commit arson and let them know that you'd be okay with it if they did the arson. And that doesn't make you an arsonist or even an arson co-conspirator. It doesn't even mean that you committed a crime, but it does mean that you probably shouldn't be fire chief, responsible for all arson investigations. So in the end, Mueller didn't say no collusion. He said no criminal conspiracy. And in the end, Trump didn't set the house on fire, but he sure did buy the insurance policy, collect his insurance check after the blaze, try to shut down the arson investigation, provide cover for the arsonists, and then did absolutely nothing to stop them from arsoning again. Again, that doesn't mean he committed a crime here, but it does mean that he probably shouldn't be in charge of our national security. I mean, arson investigations.
That's the bottom line.